So, the other day, the Supreme Court in the United Kingdom declared that woman actually means adult human female and has some connection to human biology, and they're not taking it well. This has been a real problem for the people who have decided that biology itself is the final frontier that we need to transcend in order to finally be free. Yes, the people who are clearly sane and are not doing massive amounts of damage to society. You get lots of organisations like the Terence Higgins Trust here, which is the country's leading HIV charity, that put out statements like this. Now, this is just an emblematic, in fact, lots of the things I'm going to show you are just emblematic of a slew of people of the same sort of type who are just doing the same thing over and over, right? So the Terence Higgins Trust is committed to equality for all women. But legally, that doesn't include people who are men or born male. To trans rights and to trans inclusive services. Weird how this is something they're so concerned about. We will do all we can to minimise the impact of the Supreme Court judgment on staff and service users, and to ensure our services remain trans inclusive. Trans people are protected from discrimination by law through the Equality Act, and that has not changed today. Sure, but they're just not really allowed to access women's bathrooms. That's the male ones. That seems to be one of the main planks of the purpose of this ruling, incidentally. You have MPs like Nadia Whittome who say attacking the rights of a marginalised group isn't a win for feminism. Demanding that group be defined by our biology isn't a win for feminism. Right. So feminism, as far as Nadia Whittome is concerned, is not strictly concerned about women. Women are in fact not, but essentially the constituency to which feminism is concerned. So what is the purpose of feminism? Feminism seems to be about liberating people from the confines of biology, as far as Nadia Whittome is concerned. The people driving this are not acting in the interests of women. Well, they are, but you have just said that women are not defined by biology. So how do you define woman? And the answer is you don't. You don't have a definition of woman. And so this is something that you've been like, oh, well, women are formless, limitless creatures that just go on forever, and anything in the universe could technically be a woman, couldn't it? Which, of course, is no good whatsoever when you actually need to litigate and legislate against real human beings living in the real world and that do real things to one another that actually are harmful. When you need to protect that, you actually need to be able to define woman. And actually, it turns out that women can be defined by biology, whether that's a win for feminism or not, and therefore we can define what is in the interests of women, and actually making sure that autogynephile men aren't given access to their bathrooms, so there is unsupervised access of these people, then fine. But that is apparently taking us all backwards and ushering in the far right, which gives us a good indication of the kind of political region in which the far right operate. The far right is concerned with reality. The far right is concerned about what is real, what is not abstract liberal nonsense or communist nonsense, whatever you think you are. The far right is concerned about really getting results, really protecting women, really making sure that women actually means people who are grounded in the real world, who have a physical, corporeal presence. Things that are real. That's what the far right is concerned about. And I like Nick Buckley here. I've been saying for years that feminism was behind the trans lunacy. Feminists know this to be true. The general public has no idea how this started. Yeah. And Nadia has literally just come out and saying, yeah, so basically this was all feminism's goal. Women would basically use a bit of a Trojan horse here, and actually women had to rise up and, put a stop on it before feminism could take it fully over the edge. And now women being defined by biology isn't a win for feminism. So feminism was lying to these women all these years. So many interesting revelations coming out from this ruling. Absolutely fascinating. Here's another one. And again, this is just really interesting. Apsana Begum, a Muslim woman MP in Britain. Including the trans community is essential to ensuring that everyone in society is equal. I'm not for equality, so I don't give a damn. I'm for things being proper, things being recognised as different, which means not the same, which means not equal. Things are different. Men, women, adults, children, like different ways of life are all different and therefore not equal. And so saying, well, if we include the trans community, then we can't, if we don't include the trans community, then we can't have equality. Boo-hoo, Phyllis. I'm not interested in equality. I'm interested in the world being run properly. It is proper that men, people who are born male and become adults in a male body, are not given access to the bathrooms my daughters will use. It's that simple. I don't want these people being around my children when they're in the bathroom. So sorry if that does something to your equality, but I was not for that anyway, and I'm not for you having the equality of this nonsense. And again, the human right to use the bathroom of the opposite sex, that's not a human right. Right. Against the global backdrop of increasing attacks on trans people, rollbacks on their human rights and today's court ruling, and now more than ever before, we must provide for them dignity and safety. It's not a human right to use the bathroom of the opposite sex. That's just not the case. Right. I'm not for equality if that's what it means, because again, like with Nadia Whittome, you are talking about really, really niche ideological conceptions of the world that do not match up with reality and to which I don't agree. And so, good, I'm glad that you didn't get what you want here. But you get the news agents going, well, my worry is the judgment gives license to people with unpleasant agendas to say, aha! You are the people with the unpleasant agenda. You are the people who are providing cover for men with a fetish, and a lot of it is men with a fetish, to go into bathrooms where they ought not to be, for reasons that I find dubious at best. And they say, if the Supreme Court has ruled biology trumps identity, reality trumps whatever I have going on in my head, what does that mean for the value of a gender recognition certificate? Not much, because literally saying, I have on paper that I am a woman is just not good enough. That doesn't trump reality. Like state power, you can't legislate that the sky is green. You know, you can't just have this done by fiat. Things have to match the description, and the description of things has to match what reality is. You absolute howling lunatics, gnawing at your own elbows, rotating around on the ground, screeching at the sky. That's what you're like. This is crazy. Absolutely crazy to be like, well, I mean, now the people who believe women are adult human females, their unpleasant agendas are going to carry on. It's like, what do you think their agenda is? Other than to be able to take a piss safely in the women's bathroom. Like, seriously, the unpleasant agendas of women not being harassed by men. Like, that seems to be the sum total of what people are concerned about with this. It's crazy. Laura here. Here's what the UK ruling can't take away. Your partner will always look you in the eye and see the woman you are. Your kids will still call you mum when you tuck them in at night. Your true friends will recognise your soul and welcome you into their sisterhood. This will always be yours. Top one, Sam Rogers. I've been a girl and then a woman for nearly 54 years. What's this sisterhood you speak of? What does this even mean? And she replies, and Sam's, leave the house, talk to other women, engage in further conversation, start caring for others' well-being. I don't do any of that. I don't have a special bond with women just because they're women. That's what a lot of women really believe. Like, there is no sisterhood. There is no sisterhood. And by God, have I seen it firsthand in watching women deal with one another. There's no sisterhood. Like, it's just better for women to have protected spaces in their bathrooms. It's just literally, that's what this is about, right? That's all this is about. Oh, let's turn that off. So, you've got, like, people going, like, you're not going to see this anymore. It's a bunch of guys dancing in the woman's bathroom, dressed up as women. Pantomime women, one might say. Yeah, you're probably going to see less of this. Because, I mean, this, like, don't know what you're talking about, Laura. Don't know what you're talking about. Do you think their kids are saying thanks, mum, when they tuck them in at night? Your partners are going to look you in the eye and say, what are you talking about? What do you think this has much bearing to this? Like, come on, this is so obviously just being taken advantage of by a bunch of people who I think have dubious intentions, right? very obviously being taken advantage of. And then you have a person like this. So this is a person who is a male, and they say, well, you know what? In fact, let's just listen to it.
As a woman. So from now on, to protest, I'm going to be visiting all the men's bathrooms. Well, I wouldn't say them all, but I'm going to be visiting a lot of the men's bathrooms if I need the toilet. And yeah, like, it's going to be interesting to see what the guys have got to offer.
It's not going to be a protest, is it? You legally have to use the men's toilets. It's like, it's not a protest. You just have to use the toilet that matches your biological sex. Heartbreaking. End of the world. Somehow you'll get over it. And just to finish it off, you have women crying. That's all this is. I'll turn the sound off. It's literally just a woman in a toilet crying because as of today, the UK Supreme Court, the fact that she says the UK Supreme Court implies to me that she's not British. She doesn't say anything during this. She, as you can see, just puts on a big show of crying for her trans sisters. But it ruled that trans women are no longer legally women. It's like, yes, they did. Again, she doesn't say anything, so I can't tell if she's not British, but the fact that she says UK Supreme Court, bit sus. Anyway, the point being, this seems to be the great extent of what the judgment that trans women are biological men in law means. A woman, defined as an adult human female, excludes biological men, therefore trans women cannot be women. And the complaint is we can't go around dancing in women's toilets. We're going to have to use the men's toilets. And boo-hoo Phyllis. Okay. I'm not actually very sympathetic. What we've managed to do is set back feminism and end equality as far as they're concerned. Good, I'm totally in favour of those things. So I consider this a win all round.